Confused people run out of their houses in Chicago after cop crashes car into a tree. We live every day, but most of the days of our lives are so ordinary that we cannot even recall what happened on that specific day. Our mind forgets the usual days on purpose so that it can store the other memories. We just have a handful of exceptional days which we can never forget, for whatever reason it may be, good or bad. One such day was July 24th, 2018, when everyone present on a particular street of Chicago encountered an incident they would never forget. Kevin was returning from his daily work when he noticed a police car crashed into a tree. There was smoke coming out of the car, and before he could do anything about it, he saw the most unusual thing happen. Since childhood, we have been prepared for emergency situations. Be it our parents or be it our teachers, everyone used to tell us about how in a difficult situation, we should save ourselves as well as others. Remember the disaster management classes we used to have? It's mandatory for every kid to attend it, and why wouldn't it be? After all, this is one of the necessities of life, and the first step we are all taught is calling 911 in most of the cases. But is that all that can be and should be done? The government website uses the tagline for 911 as "Stop a crime, report a fire, save a life." In the moments of emergency, calling 911 is not all that can save us. Just think about it. Sometimes it might take long before the help arrives. And when emergency means a matter of life or death, before anyone else, we might have to run into immediate action right after calling emergency. The most typical moments are those where we act upon what's going on in front of us and knowing that we've not called 911 yet. Calling 911 doesn't mean that the help will arrive right away. There's a process one has to go through. At first, the call will be connected with any of the three departments: the police department, the fire department, or emergency medical services. Then, a qualified dispatcher confirms the emergency type, location, and gathers a little more information, like contact numbers and name of the caller before running into any action. Nobody was able to think of calling 911 in this story. Wonder why? Because everything was happening quite quickly, and it seemed like there was very less time left on their hands. It started with one fine day, at least that's what Kevin J. Russell was expecting it to be, unless on his way back home he noticed something tragic on the street. He stopped his car on the way and took out his camera to record because he knew events like those don't occur every day. But it wasn't anything good that he was filming, rather it was a scene of an accident. Certainly, cops are here for our help, and we aren't supposed to get scared of that, but don't we all know the kind of risk that might come with the cops? Most of the time, cops are assigned one or the other mission to accomplish, which the ordinary people will get scared of, chasing the criminals, keeping an eye on suspects. So police officers are used to living a life full of risks, and generally, most of the people prefer to maintain an adequate distance from the cops for these reasons. But again, on this day, Kevin encountered the opposite of what we mentioned above. What actually happened was Kevin, who was waiting for the signal to turn green, noticed a dark-colored SUV exceeding the limits and constantly increasing its speed. It all happened so quickly that before the traffic signal turned green, the accident had already taken place. Kevin drove in the direction of the accident to see if anybody was injured or anyone needed his help, but by the time he reached the accident spot, there was only one car, and that wasn't the dark-colored SUV, but a police car. The SUV was already gone. The SUV was moving so fast that to save an accident, the cops took a sharp turn and the car crashed into a tree on the side. The officers were amid a foot pursuit and on duty when this took place. Even after the lights of the police car were on, the SUV struck their car. There was only one way out. So by the time Kevin reached there, a group of people already approached the police car. Kevin, from a distance, was thinking that it can be dangerous for these people to get close to a damaged car. But there were people inside and they needed to be rescued. Kevin then picked up his camera and started to record what was about to happen next. The neighborhood people ran to rescue the police officers. It's very rare that a police car meets an accident. They were checking on how many people were inside the car. The car was heating up quickly and they had to take the officers out before anything bad happens. Kevin recalled that the officers tried to avoid the accident with the careless SUV driver. The police officer on the driver's seat applied brakes and got crashed in the tree. The fact that even if we are driving with full attention and abiding all the rules, all it will take is one reckless driver to risk everyone's life driving on the road. Isn't that something that makes roads scarier? I saw a lot of bystanders come over and assist, check on the officer, actually pull them out of the vehicle, mentioned Kevin in a Facebook post. He uploaded the video online, and certainly people were amazed to see the actions of the neighbors. Kevin went on uploading the video online that was viewed by thousands of other Facebook users. Today, after work, riding down Jeffrey, I saw this Chicago police truck flying down the street with their sirens on, and some idiot drove in the intersection so they crashed into a tree to avoid them, Kevin mentioned in the caption. As Kevin's description of the video wasn't over yet, he further added that everyone should watch this video till the end to watch the Good Samaritans who came to help and check on the police officer and drag him out of the car. This video was shared on a public level, which means anyone can see the video and share it further. The neighborhood's church was in the next lane where the accident took place. Pastor Philip Cusick was in the church when he heard the loud sound of the accident. Like most of the other neighboring people, he too ran outside to see what had taken place. "We were right here in the middle of the street," he recalled. He helped in picking up the police officer by his arm, escorted him to the roadside. The fellow officer was severely hurt in the accident and needed immediate medical care to survive. While Pastor Philip Cusick and other residents were taking the cop far from the car, a woman called 911 to report the accident and get the help. She gave the authorities the exact location and asked for an ambulance to be sent as soon as possible. Another woman noticed the serious condition of the cop and ran inside her home without giving it a second thought. She gathered a couple of pillows and a blanket to keep the police officer comfortable until help arrives. Belinda Chisholm is one of the women who were present at the scene. She later told in an interview that people showed so much concern for the injured cop that she noticed more than 4 people calling 911 and reporting the incident at the same time. "We help one another. It doesn't matter who they are or what job they have." Most of the Facebook viewers of the video were surprised to see so many work together to help the police officer. However, the people who were there at that moment felt like that's how humanity works, by helping each other. Russell, too, tried to explain it that even when people think that people of color and police don't get along and don't have a good relationship, but emergency situations like these, when it's a matter of life or death, you do the right thing. "The officer is a human being. He's not just an officer or an object," Russell further stated. And everyone present on the spot was aware of the right thing to do. No one was thinking of the injured man as a police officer, but a human being. But did the police officer get proper treatment? As soon as the emergency medical crew arrived on the spot, they took matters into their hands. The cop was taken to the hospital, and later the authorities called the woman who informed the accident in the first place to inform that the cop was now on the path to recovery. Chisholm remembered the moment of action and how everyone around her was worried for the injured officer. For a moment, people panicked, but soon ran to get the officer out of the car. She went on saying some beautiful words. "Everything in the world is not bad, and we have to change this world. If somebody has to show the world what love is, then that's what we have to do." Russell, too, has a similar kind of thinking. He agreed with Chisholm and said, "Are people who do care what's going on in the world. I'm not too surprised. I know we have good people in the world." The officer later might have returned to the location of the accident and thanked the people who saved his life. The Good Samaritans said in an interview that yes, they felt good about the fact that they were able to help, but they didn't feel it was a heroic action, rather everyone's duty to help. The driver of the SUV most probably got scared of being accused of the accident and hence ran away to stay out of the whole matter, but leaving the police officer in such a miserable condition shows the SUV's driver's inhumane attitude. The video of this incident is in the next slide. Thanks to Kevin J. Russell, the world was able to see something good. Stories like this one touch everyone, as anyone can feel connected to it. This can happen to anyone, and the choice is ours whether we'll be like the pastor or like the SUV driver. Accidents can happen, and sometimes it won't be your fault. But what would you choose to do? Will you run away, or will you care for someone else's life? The answer itself tells the kind of person one is. This is an easy way to either feel good or bad about yourself.